What's going on, guys? bizanix here. Today we're going to be discussing if the shock grenade is too OP. Now I have a lot to say about it, so let's get started. The shock grenade was a Bestman DLC stock card that could be obtained by completing a HUD contract. Now we're going to talk a lot about what it does, then we'll talk about what it does in certain game modes or how to use it, and finish with some tips and tricks. Now this card is definitely difficult to consistently use effectively. I can't tell you how many times I've shocked myself, or didn't throw the grenade far enough, or even at the right time. When thrown, the shock grenade will activate when it hits the ground. To note, I have seen and sometimes with certain maps that this does not always work, but it happens rarely. The throwing animation of the grenade is almost exactly like the smoke grenade, so it's going to work a lot like it. The grenade will shock the enemy if they are within a few meters or feet of it, and if they are out of cover and exposed. Now I also have to note, being close to it as well will mean you will be shocking yourself. You have been warned. This star card has a very high cooldown of about 40 seconds, which is a really high, like it's a lot. And I find that it does in fact take a very long time, even with your partner boosting the cooldown speed. Now I'm just going to say that say this again. The skill needed to use this card is very high, and you have to be willing to rage a couple of times before you can actually become an expert at it. So moving on to the game modes, I have grouped Supremacy and Turning Point together, Cargo by itself, Sabotage, Droid Run, Drop Zone, and Walker Assault as a group, and Extraction on its own. Each group has a unique objective playstyle, so I thought it would be only appropriate to show these in their separate game modes. Beginning with Supremacy and Turning Point, you will be capturing bases. Sometimes these are large open areas, while others they are closed spaces. When using the shock grenade, aim for the actual closed spaces first, because you're trying to surprise your enemy. Try and use the scout trait. Try to get a good angle and toss the grenade. If the plan works out, you will stun nearly everyone inside the actual base that you're trying to actually capture, and they'll be stunned for almost 5 seconds. And if you fail, you will probably die and stun yourself. Now for the open control points, you'll have to be more careful and use your grenade more sparingly. Try jump packing and dropping the grenade down on the enemy. As long as you are not too close, it should result in an easy couple of kills. I have tried this several times, and about 50% of the time I will kill the enemy, while the other 50% of the time I'll make a fool of myself and actually shock myself when I hit the ground as well. So you have to learn the timing, and that's why I'm saying again, there is a high skill that you need to use when using this actual grenade. Now the shock grenade is pretty useful for these game modes, and out of 10 I would probably give it an 8, only because it's really hard to use and it's not always the best thing to do. I find that I'm using my blaster more and more, and the shock grenade is just that extra thing I can use whenever I feel like the control point's about to be overwhelmed. Now, the game type cargo is a different story. When using the grenade, you need it to stop people when they're trying to run away with you and your cargo. For example, the enemy has stolen your cargo, but the enemy is feeling like they can outrun you. What they don't know is that you have a shock grenade, and it will stop them right in their tracks. All you have to do is use your jetpack to get a little closer to them, drop your shock grenade at least in front of them or right next to them or even a little bit behind them. It'll shock them, you can kill them, and capture your cargo. Now, other uses of this grenade would be simply to throw it in a capture room, take the cargo, and run. Most people aren't using this grenade, so they're not really going to think to throw it and to stop you. I really haven't, out of the cargo matches that I've played, I have not seen anyone actually using this method, but I feel like it's the most effective method to win this game type. And so essentially, if you are using this card in this game type, I would probably give it a 9 out of 10, only because it's not 10 out of 10. It's not completely perfect because it doesn't always work, and you have to be really skilled when using it, like I said before, but giving it a 9 out of 10, I could definitely see a lot of people using this if they had Bestman DLC. Moving on to our next category of game types, you'll notice that there are objectives that you need to be taken and held for as long as possible. Now we're talking about that Walker Assault, Droid Run, Drop Zone, Sabotage, and just game modes like that where you actually capture a objective. So using the shock grenade for this game type is a bit different than the actual supremacy and turning point category that I made. I would say when assaulting an objective, you will have to use the same technique for turning on the objective and waiting for an opening to throw and to use your jetpack. I'm getting that from the supremacy and turning point. But when defending, you need to use your grenade only when you feel like point is about to be overwhelmed. So what I'm trying to say is, if there is a lot of stormtroopers or rebels piling up behind a doorway and you can't really see them yet, but you know they're there and they're making noise, like you can hear them, then just wait until like at least 2 of them will run. Throw your grenade, because most likely you'll end up hitting 2 to 3 people and they'll be stopped in their tracks. It'll stop everyone behind them. You can kill the people in front, and then the people behind them will be kind of surprised that they even got shocked in the first place, and you'll be able to kill them as well. So doing that is really, really good for defending. Now, if you use this shock grenade way too soon, then you won't have it ready when you really need it. So like I said, hold on to it, use it sparingly. Simply using this grenade is great for stopping people from activating objects as well, because when stunned, it stops their starting progress of the objective and also gives you a quick kill. So if I had to give an actual number out of 10 for how useful this is, I'd probably give it a 7, only because I still feel like there are other cards that could be better in this situation for like crowd control. The shock grenade does a very great job, but I don't think it's the best card you can use. Finally, we're going to talk about extraction now. The shock grenade in this game type is extremely useful. Honestly, probably the best game type to use the shock grenade on. So we're going to talk about it. Now, before I go any further into it, I just want to say I probably could have grouped this shock grenade, or this game type, I'm sorry, with the Walker Assault, Droid Run, Drop Zone, and Sabotage group, but I felt like it was necessary to be on its own, only because I feel like this is the most useful game type to use it on. Now, quite simply, the strategy does not really change from what you would be doing on the other game types like Walker Assault, because you're just throwing the grenade down in front of people that are trying to activate the cargo or stop the cargo. And the awesome part about this grenade is that you would think it would stop whenever it's about to go through a shield, but it actually goes through the shield. And that's why it's really, really good for this game type, because if you don't know or you haven't played Extraction before, the rebels can activate a shield actually on the cargo that's moving, and it can, it's basically a squad shield, but it's mobile, and so you have to actually go in to actually turn off the objective. But if you use the shock grenade and shock the enemy, turn off the objective, or shock the enemy, melee them in the back and turn off the objective, it's extremely useful and they really can't do anything about it. And so I feel like that might not be something that should be in the game, but I feel like it's really good, and I'm really glad that I was able to find this out. So like I was saying, it was probably the most useful card to use in this game type, so I have to give it a 10 out of 10. I really like using it. I actually made a whole video or live gameplay on it before, so if you want to check that out, you can, to see more content on it, but it's freaking amazing to use. So all in all, the shock grenade is pretty OP. Following my guide for attacking and defending objectives will really leave you as the MVP player for your team. Now, some extra tips I probably could slide in. This card will stun heroes, but I find that the stun is very minor, and it's actually very hard to land a stun on a hero, because I feel like the grenade needs to be actually closer to the hero or on the same level as the hero, and on sloped maps it's kind of difficult to land. I should also say that this grenade does not work on turret emplacements like turbo lasers. It does not stun them or do anything like that, because I think that's really the job of the ion neutralizer in this current meta. And finally, the grenade will shock droids, like I'm talking about Viper droids and R5 droids. It's really useful because honestly those droids can get really annoying and can kill you faster than a human can, so it's really good that it can do that too. So that is really it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this video and thought it was helpful in some way or form. But if you did, be sure to leave a like, because it really is appreciated, and it really took me a long time to make this video. I wanted to make sure it was legit, so hopefully you guys enjoyed it. Remember to subscribe because I will be posting nearly every single day, and comment an idea for the next video. But without further ado, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.